More Syrian refugees arriving in Texas today, as we told you earlier in the newscast. This video is from Dallas, where 6 refugees arrived earlier this week. Yesterday, federal judge David Godbee rejected a request by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to block any more Syrian refugees from coming to Texas. Our partners at the Austin American-Statesman report Godbee ruled Texas officials, quote, failed to show by competent evidence that any terrorists actually have infiltrated the refugee program, much less that these particular refugees are terrorists intent on causing harm. And that is the first topic in tonight's Point-Counterpoint. We are joined by Republican strategist Matt Mackowiak, president of Potomac Strategy Group, and Democrat Ed Espinoza, executive director of Progress Texas. Okay, you guys had a heated debate on this last time, right after the San Bernardino shootings. Ed, the judge doesn't seem to be buying that better safe than sorry argument.
That's right, and that's the problem, is that the Syrian refugees were never the problem. The problem is the guns, and the problem is the motive by those who have the guns. A very small number of Syrian refugees are here in America, and they're not the ones who are causing the problems. They're actually the ones who are escaping the problems. We need to demonstrate our American values and accept them.
Matt?
Well, you know, in the San Bernardino case, you have the strongest gun control laws of any state are in California, so it's not necessarily a question of gun control laws. In this case, you have the state saying, no, we want to have better vetting. And so if one of the terrorists in Paris used a fake or a stolen Syrian passport to get into Europe, and then they could have been able to come into the United States to the visa waiver program. Congress, at least the House, has acted to make changes to the visa waiver program, which were smart. But yeah, we do need better vetting. The FBI director, the director of national intelligence have both said the databases don't exist to vet Syrian refugees, and ISIS has said they want to use the refugee program to come into the United States. Ed, if that doesn't concern you, then I think you're not being honest.
Well, I think that we have a very strict up to 21 points in the vetting process now, and in all the people that have come here since 2001, 9/11, 2001, we haven't really seen, I think 3 people were suspected of something, but none were arrested. The problem is now you've got people like Donald Trump who are making this their rallying cry in the Republican Party, and it's really turned an electorate against a group of people, and that's really not who we represent.
Hey, let's talk about Trump since you bring him up. A new poll shows he's picking up even more support among Republican voters. He's at 35%. That's compared to 16% for Ted Cruz, 13% for Ben Carson, and 9% for Marco Rubio. So, you know, he made those comments about a temporary ban on Muslims entering the U.S. It's generating a lot of angry responses, but it also seems that it's generating higher numbers. Explain this.
You know, the problem is that he knows he can't do anything about refugees coming in. It's not, or I'm sorry, not even refugees. He knows he can't just straight up ban Muslims from the United States. The thing is, he just doesn't care. And he may not speak for all Republicans, but right now he speaks for a plurality of them. And the problem is that his poll numbers are starting to steady up in places like Iowa. He's leading in Iowa. He's leading in New Hampshire. He's leading in South Carolina. He may have a low floor, but the thing to remember about crowded political primaries, you only need 30% to advance. And right now, that's what he's getting.
Matt, people are jumping on with Trump. Santorum, in fact, is one of them.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, he's talked about people coming from Middle Eastern countries, not necessarily banning all Muslims. Look, I think what Trump has proposed is ridiculous. It's irresponsible. It's unconstitutional. It's un-American. But there is a tremendous amount of anxiety out there in the country. The CBS News, New York Times poll that came out yesterday showed there's as much anxiety about terrorism in the United States today as there were in the days after 9/11. That's what Trump's playing into. This is never going to happen. It's never going to be policy. And it doesn't represent the Republican Party. There's almost no elected Republicans at any level have supported what Trump has proposed.
I want to get to this really quick. Saturday, members of a group called Come and Take It Texas and Don'tComply.com. They plan to hold an open carry walk in downtown. That's followed by a mock mass shooting near UT campus. They say it'll demonstrate how vulnerable people can be in weapon-free zones. Critics say it's a publicity stunt, could easily cause fear and confusion, and make people actually think there's a real attack underway. What do you think about this thing? Matt?
Yeah, I think it's awful. I said it on Twitter yesterday. I support campus carry. I support open carry. I think we should get rid of gun-free zones, particularly as it relates to college campuses. But I think it should be up to the college campuses. But look, at the University of Texas, we had a mass shooting in the late 60s. There's going to be a lot of fear, particularly in the circumstance of anxiety that we have today. This is the wrong way to advance your cause. They should not do this.
Two things real quick. One, my understanding is it's not going to be on campus anymore, so they've moved it to Guadalupe. Yep. I'm curious how the business owners on Guadalupe feel about what is about to become a militarized zone 2 Saturdays before Christmas. Austin PD will be out there monitoring it. It's not necessarily going to be the thing that's very inviting for shoppers who are looking to buy presents. The second thing is, why do these guys need to do this in the first place? We have experts who do this. They're called cops, they're called SWAT teams, and they go through drills all the time. Why do these guys feel the need to do it? I think it is a publicity stunt. They need to let go.
An issue we all agree on. Ed Espinoza, Matt Makoviak, thank you both very much.
Thanks.